I'm going to show you how I built an AI agent in Claude to produce a budget for a business and how it handled the work I should not be spending my time on in the first place. Let's get into it. Building a proper budget in a small or medium sized business takes weeks, and it lands on top of everything else the finance team is already doing. The time it takes is not the problem. The problem is where that time goes. Compiling data, downloading reports out of three different systems, building the model, writing complicated formulas in Excel. And while all of that is happening, the real job never gets done. The thinking, challenging the assumption, talking to the budget owners. So you end up with a budget you are not fully confident in yourself. Now, what does any of this have to do with Claude? Everything. Let me explain. Imagine you got back even a third of the time you spend on that mechanical work and you put it into the business instead, talking to the people who own the numbers, testing what the plan actually depends on, thinking about the year rather than crunching it. This is what this video is about. I have to show you the full budget process first because you cannot decide what to hand over to Claude until you see all of it. At an SME, a budget is usually 5 steps. Number one, leadership sets the direction, normally in a meeting or several meetings with the finance team. Number two, department managers give you their inputs and you challenge what they give you. Number three, you normalize last year's actuals, stripping out the one offs to get the real run rate and to see the real trends. Number four, you finalize the assumptions and build the input sheets, normally revenue, people cost, and the rest of the cost base. Number five, you consolidate all of it into the budget, a 12-month phased profit and loss statement. So, which of those steps should you actually bring Claude into? Claude comes in at step 3 and runs all the way to step 5. Normalizing the actuals, pressure testing the assumptions, revenue, people cost, the rest of the cost base, and consolidating everything into the P&L model. This is where the weeks go. This is where your evenings go. And this is where Claude changes the equation. Now look at the two steps where it cannot help you. Leadership direction is a series of meetings. Getting a department head to defend their numbers is a negotiation. Claude can help you consolidate what they give you once you have it, but it is not going to have those conversations for you. Two steps stay with you, three go to Claude with you supervising every one of them. So if somebody tells you that AI can produce a budget end to end with some magic prompt, I can tell you they have probably never created a real budget using AI. Because without you in the loop, Claude cannot do this. It cannot sit in the leadership meeting. It cannot push back on a department head who has padded their numbers. And it is not signing anything. And without Claude, you can do all 5 steps, but nowhere near as efficiently and quickly as you could. You end up spending those weeks in the wrong place, which is exactly where we started this video. So now you might be understanding that it is not that AI is going to replace us. It is a better split of work between us and AI. All right, with that out of the way, the big question. Why build an AI agent for this when the budget only happens once a year? Why not create a new chat with Claude and get started? There are several reasons. Let me give you the three biggest. First, the agent holds the method you use at your organization. Every business budgets slightly differently, and that method is worth something. If it only lives in your head or in a chat you closed 6 months ago, you rebuild it from scratch every time. Second, it works inside the boundaries you set. Most of what goes wrong with AI in finance goes wrong because nobody set the rules up front. Boundaries are what make the output something you can actually rely on. Third is you are building it once and it keeps paying. Next year, you are building inputs, not starting again. Something changes mid-year, you reflow it. Another business unit needs a budget, you point it at that one. And if you have not already watched my video on what an AI agent actually is and how to build one, it is on screen now. Watch that one too, and all of this will make a lot more sense. With the foundations covered, let me show you what it looks like in action step by step so that you can follow along. So here is what my agent produced, a full annual budget phased by month. Two things to notice before we go anywhere near how it was built. First, the format. It is the same exact format as the management reporting. It is not similar, it is exactly the same. Because if your budget and your actual reporting do not match, every variance conversation for the next 12 months turns into a translation exercise. Second, the total. This number agrees to the sum of the input sheets behind it: revenue, people costs, other costs, and the normalized base. If it did not, none of the rest would be worth showing you. The whole model took me about an hour, start to finish. And I should say clearly, this is dummy data for a fictional business. None of these numbers belong to a real company. On a live budget, it will take you longer than an hour. It will still be a fraction of what it takes without Claude. Now, let me take you back through how it got there. Part 1 is building the agent. To do that, it needs context: the files, the data, the information, the same things you would hand somebody joining your team. In this case, there are four things: the latest management pack that carries the actuals, the chart of accounts, the GL extract, the breakdowns, last year's budget file, if you have one, the business context file so it understand what the business does and how it makes money, and the strategic direction notes. This is the leadership input, expansion plans, hiring and firing, what are we trying to achieve next year. Then the piece that actually makes it an agent rather than a folder of files: my instructions, what to do, what not to do, what format the output comes out in, and the boundaries it works inside. Here are the instructions I gave it. If you want these instructions to build your own agent, I have written up everything used in this video as a walkthrough. It is free inside my community and the link is in the description. Part 2 is building the budget. But the smart thing to do while working with Claude is to break it down. Let's start with step 1. The first step is to normalize last year. Before anything, I asked it to go through last year's actuals and pull out the one-offs: the legal settlement, the office move, the client that will not repeat, for example. Because to see the real trends and to build the cost base properly, I have to see the numbers without the one-off items. And here is a cool thing. Doing this by hand would have taken me hours. Claude did this step in under 10 minutes. But I still checked everything. Step 2 is refining the assumptions. I wrote out my assumptions list first based on the trend analysis, the meetings with the management and the department heads. Then, before building anything, I used the agent to challenge it, not to accept it. I asked it to interrogate my assumptions and tell me where these could be improved. That one habit is what separates a real budget from a guess. Step 3 is the revenue sheet. I gave Claude the client contracts that run into the budget year, plus the assumptions around new business growth and any new products. Enough for it to work out how revenue flows across each month. And if you have been working for this business for some time, checking it is quick. Step 4 is the people cost. The existing staff, hiring and firing plan broken down properly by salaries, benefits, and taxes. It produced a clean people cost sheet. Here I checked that headcount by month agrees to the hiring plan and the average cost per head is a number I recognize. People cost is usually the biggest line in service businesses and error here flows through everywhere. Step 5 is the rest of the cost base. Claude already has the normalized actuals, the last year's budget, and the cost assumptions for the next year. From those and from my prompt, it built a sheet with every remaining cost line month by month. The final step is to build the budget model. I asked it to consolidate the 12-month budget in the management P&L format, and I provide the specific rules it should follow when building the budget. For example, do not hardcode numbers in the P&L. Every figure in there should link back to an input sheet. After these steps, the output that came out, I was already quite confident that this is the output I can put my name on. Now notice what I did across those 6 steps. I did not ask it to create the budget in one go. I broke a big task into small pieces. I gave it what it needed for each one and I checked each piece before moving on. And that is the whole secret to controlling AI mistakes and getting output you would actually put in front of a board. Once you create this AI agent, it keeps earning. The obvious use is next year when the whole exercise gets far easier. But think about 6 months from now. When somebody asks you to explain the logic behind the revenue assumptions, you're not going back through your own files trying to remember. You ask the agent and it walks you through the reasoning as if you built it yesterday. If you want the detailed handout with all the prompts and the full approach from this video, it is free inside my community. Link is in the description. And if you want to learn this properly with me, I run a training course on Claude for finance. If this was useful, please subscribe and like the video. And send it to whoever on your team is about to lose several weeks on next year's budget. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.